Let's talk about a feeling. You know the one. It's like a ghost in your memory, a phantom sense of longing for a life you're absolutely sure you've lived, except for one tiny, nagging detail you haven't.
What if I told you that some of the deepest, most powerful feelings of nostalgia you've ever had aren't even for your own past? What if your brain, right this second, is a high-tech simulator building an entire emotional history for a time and place you never, ever knew?
Okay, so before we even put a name to this, let's just sit with the experience itself. It's this weird, bittersweet echo in your mind, right? A feeling that just doesn't have a clear origin in your own life story.
It can feel like the warmth of a sun-drenched afternoon in the 1970s. You know, the light looks just like it does in those old, faded photographs. You can almost feel the heat on your skin, but you weren't there. You couldn't have been. Or maybe for you, it's the sound of a crackling vinyl record, playing some song from the 60s. You hear it, and bam, it feels like coming home. It's this warm wave of familiarity for a time that, for you, only ever existed in stories and sound waves.
And that's the whole paradox, isn't it? I mean, nostalgia by definition is supposed to be about your personal past. But this is something else entirely. It's this deep, wistful connection to an era you've only seen in movies. It feels like your memory, but it's really your imagination firing on all cylinders.
Look, if any of this is ringing a bell, you are definitely not alone. This is a profoundly common human experience. But what on earth is happening inside your head to create such a powerful, phantom feeling? What is this ghost in your neural machine?
Well, this feeling isn't some kind of magic or mysticism, it's straight-up neuroscience. It turns out your brain is a time machine, and we're about to pop the hood and see how it works.
Turns out this feeling actually has a name: Anemoia. It was coined to describe this exact phenomenon, the formal recognition that, yeah, we can feel a deep sense of longing for a past that was never ours to begin with.
And this is the key difference. Real nostalgia is you remembering your actual first concert. Anemoia is you feeling this wistful connection to, say, the idea of Woodstock, an event you've only constructed for movies and music. But here's the absolute kicker. To your brain, there's barely any difference. And here is the neural plot twist. Your brain has a system called the default mode network. Now, you can think of this as your brain's internal holodeck. It's the imagination and memory engine. It fires up when you remember your past, when you daydream, when you plan for the future. And here's the truly mind-bending part. When you recall a real memory, that network lights up like a Christmas tree. But when scientists ask people to vividly imagine a historical scene they never lived, the exact same network lights up in pretty much the exact same way. Your brain isn't using different tools for remembering versus imagining. It's all running on the same hardware.
So what does that actually mean? It means the simulation feels real because neurologically speaking, it is real. Your brain doesn't just logically think about a scene, it runs a full-blown simulation, and that generates a genuine, authentic emotional response. That feeling of anemoia isn't fake, it's the real output of a memory-like process.
Okay, so how does your brain actually cook this up? You can think of it like a recipe with 3 main steps. First, your default node network runs the simulation. Second, a very powerful psychological filter kicks in. And third, it needs raw data to chew on, and it gets that from the world around us.
So let's break down those last 2 ingredients. First, your brain applies this amazing filter called rosy retrospection. It's our natural habit of remembering, or in this case imagining, the past as way better than it actually was. It basically airbrushes out all the bad stuff. Then you add the fuel, culture. Movies, songs, vintage photos. These things are literally designed to be emotionally potent. They are the perfect highlight reels of the past, feeding your brain's simulation the most sentimental, romanticized data you can possibly imagine. So now we know how it happens, but that leaves us with the bigger question, right? Why? Why would our brains evolve to create these powerful phantom feelings for a past we never even lived? Because this isn't just some quirky bug in the system. Here's the most important takeaway. Anemoia isn't a glitch. It's a feature. It serves a deep psychological purpose. It's actually a tool your mind is using to build your sense of self, to write your own story into a bigger context.
Look, we're narrative creatures. We need to feel like we're part of something bigger than just our own short lives. By feeling Anemoia, you are emotionally weaving yourself into this grand tapestry of history. It creates this powerful sense of continuity, a feeling that the emotions and the values of the past are flowing right through you, and that gives your own life a much deeper context and meaning.
So really, your brain isn't being tricked at all. It's doing one of the most essential things it evolved to do, taking the raw data of culture, the stories, the images, the songs, and transforming it all into a meaningful, internal, emotional experience that helps shape who you are.
So, the next time you feel that strange pull for another time, just remember, that's the sound of your brain's time machine whirring to life. And that leaves us with one last, kind of wild thought. If your brain is this good at constructing an emotional past from just a few fragments, what kind of future is it capable of simulating for you right now, based on the stories you choose to feed it?